We now come to the meat of this course. This is Module 3, Approaches and Strategies in Teaching Values Education. This module has 8 lessons. The first lesson is about Values Clarification Approach. And then Lesson 2 is about Moral Cognitive Development Approach. Lesson 3 is about Values Inculcation Approach. And then Lesson 4 is all about Values Analysis. And then Lesson 5 is about Action Learning Approach. Lesson 6 is about Transpersonal Approach. Lesson 7, the PNU ACES approach. And the last lesson is all about Values Integration in Subject Areas. Without further ado, let's begin. This is Module 3, Lesson 1, Values Clarification Approach. Values clarification has its origin in the humanistic and transpersonal psychology. Abraham Maslow is its major proponent. He believed that every human being is capable of attaining self-actualization through the valuing process. Self-actualization is an ongoing process of using one's innate capacities and potentials in full, creative, and joyful ways. Let's look into the purposes of values clarification. The first one is to help students become aware of and identify their own values and those of others, to help students communicate openly and honestly about their values, to help students use both rational thinking and emotional awareness to examine their personal feelings, values, and behavior patterns. Please take note of the use of rational thinking and emotional awareness in this approach. And since we are using rational thinking in this approach, for something to be considered as a value using the clarification approach, the person must go through the 7 criteria of the valuing process. If you remember, the first step is choosing one's beliefs and behaviors. That's choosing from alternatives, choosing after consideration of consequences, and choosing freely. And then prizing one's beliefs and behaviors. That's prizing and cherishing, and publicly affirming when appropriate. And then acting. That's acting itself on one's beliefs. And acting with a pattern, consistency, and repetition. Let's see the values clarification strategies commonly used in teaching values education. We have role-playing, games and simulations, contrived or real value-laden situations, introspection or in-depth self-analysis exercise, sensitivity activities. We have small group discussion, values grid, ranking. We also have group dynamics, case study, and we can also use dyadic and triadic sharing, 2 or 3 persons, and dialogue or clarifying response strategy. Please take note that the clarifying response strategy, or CRS, is the most flexible and effective strategy in encouraging a person to introspect about his or her thoughts and ideas, consider other alternatives, and arrive at a purposeful stance for himself or herself and in relation to others. To recap, we discussed the values clarification approach and some strategies commonly used in teaching values education using values clarification approach. That's the Module 3, Lesson 1, Values Clarification Approach. See you in the next video.